I struggled as a teenager. I had a really challenging early life. As you know, went through drug addiction, homelessness, and was nearly dead by 17, 18 years old. Was very sick, grew up on fast food, wasn't eating well, I was very stressed. I had all kinds of different ailments starting to pop up in the body, digestive issues. I was very skinny, very pale. I mean, I was sick. I was headed for death, and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, drank tremendous amount of alcohol. I got into heavy drugs, and I was homeless at 15, kind of couch surfing, living out of my car, under park benches from about 15 to 18 years old. And 18 years old, 17, 18, I moved in with this beautiful family. And Dennis Davis and Martina Davis. And he started talking to me about meditation, about spirituality, about Jesus and Buddha, and how our thoughts are like frequencies, like a radio. We can tune into the thoughts that we want to have. And I was in this lifestyle that was so painful and full of suffering and anguish and stress and resentment and anger and fear. And yet there was a deeper part of me, my soul, that was yearning for this knowledge, this spiritual knowledge. And so every time he would talk to me, I'd just sit there and soak it up. I loved it. I wanted to know more. And I had this vision when I was sitting with him of myself in the future. And then less than a year later, I was actually that person in the future. It was such an amazing mystical experience. And over the next 20 years until now, meditation, spiritual seeking, different spiritual practices, spending a tremendous amount of time with Native Americans and Buddhists and Zen masters and yogic masters, and studying and learning from all these different Eastern traditions on spiritual living and personal development and self-growth and positive psychology and hypnotherapy. All these things continued to help me along the way. And I look back and I saw, what was that one commonality that kind of got me through every challenge? That was one challenge, overcoming all those addictions, and that took me quite a while. But then there are multiple challenges. We all face challenges in our life. A lot of people here are dealing with cancer or dealing with a loved one with cancer. And life gives us these challenges for us to grow. Every cancer patient I've worked with over the years, the ones who we call cancer conquerors, ones who say, this cancer is not a part of my life anymore. They looked at that cancer as a blessing, right? They realized that, wow, this was here to teach me something. This is not an enemy trying to kill me and invade me and tear me down. This is a spiritual awakening. This is an opportunity for me to learn something about myself, to connect deeper to myself, to have a deeper spiritual experience. And I used to produce cancer conferences in San Diego back in 2013, 2014. And most of our volunteers were cancer patients or cancer thrivers, cancer conquerors. And that's what I noticed in talking to people, was this difference in mindset. When I would talk to somebody who said, cancer is the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I say, why? Oh, it brought me down. It's painful, the chemotherapy, the radiation, lost friends, family. They're very down about themselves and the diagnosis. And then I would meet people who go, cancer is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Same age, same kind of person, same background. And yet this person's going, and they still have cancer, by the way. The cancer wasn't gone. It was a shift in perspective. The cancer is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I say, why? Because it helped me care more deeply about myself. It helped me take more responsibility for my own health. I got out of that relationship that was killing me. I quit that job that I hated. I got more spiritually connected. I started meditating and praying. I started eating healthier. Right? So they took what most people consider one of life's greatest challenges, and most people's greatest fear is that those words, you have cancer. And they turned it into something very positive. They said, no, this is a lesson. This is here to teach me something. What can I learn from it? And even if the cancer never goes away, but you improve the quality of your life, you have a deeper spiritual connection. Maybe you do get healthier, have more energy along the way, or at the very least, you improve your relationships, you improve your connection with God, with the divine, then it's not wasted. And that's the important thing that people need to realize, is there's no challenge in life. All those challenges I went through in my life, none of them were for they weren't meaningless. Every challenge we go through has a meaning. Nature never gives you a challenge that you can't handle. And it's so true. I look at my life, and no matter what challenge, no matter how big it seemed, insurmountable, I could share story after story of just the biggest challenges you could ever imagine. And yet, life, God, the divine, gives you everything you need to deal with that challenge, to overcome it, to transcend it. But we have to implement what I teach called SOM, solution-oriented mindset, SOM, SOM. Making our minds start to see solutions instead of problems. So anytime that there's a problem or challenge that we face, we can even start chanting internally, SOM, SOM, solution-oriented mindset. And instead of the mind going, problem, 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 I can't do this, I don't know how, I don't have the resources, I'm not young enough, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that, we have to get control of the mind and say, what are the solutions? I know there's a solution. Principle number one of SOM is, I know there's a solution. Life does not give me a challenge that there's not a solution for. And then we start focusing our mind on solutions. And it may show up instantly. It may take time. The bigger the challenge, often the bigger the solution, often the longer the time. But the more we focus on it, and the more that we believe that there is a solution, then we can find those solutions. And the solutions come from the hard drive of the universe. They come from the divine, when real solutions flow through us. And those real solutions come because we get into that centered point.